I would like Eva to invite our next guest, Kshitij Joshi.
Hello, ma'am. I'm audible this time?
Yes, Eva.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, so our next guest for today is Kshitij Joshi. Okay. So he's always been a person who's always interested in learning new things. He has always taken several courses related to software and web development, which gave him many tools to do various projects. He also took a part in an internship at GSFC University, which provided with him with some insights about developing real-time applications using different technologies and also enhanced his skills in programming and problem solving skills. So now I welcome Kshitij to start with his presentation.
Thank you very much, Eva, for the introduction. So, hello everyone. I hope you are able to hear me. Okay, okay. So it seems that I'm facing some issue with my camera. So
No problem.
I'll be just giving a verbal talk today. So today we'll be talking about basically Python programming. So why Python is so important in today's programming world? And what are the chances of our future with Python? So first of all, the whole programming paradigm is based on what type of programming languages we are using today and what we have been using since last few years. So in programming paradigms, there are basically two types of paradigms. The first one is imperative programming, and the second one is declarative programming. So, in layman words, I'd say that imperative programming is the one where a process is important rather than just the result. Whereas in declarative programming, in there the result is more important, and they don't care. It doesn't care about the whole process. So in imperative, we'll be talking today about imperative programming. So in imperative programming, there are three types: procedural programming languages, object-oriented programming languages, as well as parallel processing programming languages. So in procedural programming languages, they are the ones where the computer language, language specifies a series of uh, wall structured steps and procedures within the programming context to compose a whole computer program. So basically, it works on the it works on the well structured procedural form. That's why it is called procedural programming languages. In today, we know most of the procedural programming languages, which are C, Java, Basic, Pascal. So these are some examples of procedural programming languages. Then we have object-oriented programming. So object-oriented programming is uh, it is a programming paradigm which is built on the concept of objects that contain both data as well as the code to modify that data. So object-oriented programming depends on these both parameters. In OOP, so most of the languages which are majorly used are Java, C++, and Ruby. Basically, you might be wondering why Java is being called in both procedural as well as object-oriented programming, because Java is actually a multi-paradigm programming language. So that's why it can also be used as a programming procedural language as well as an object-oriented programming language. Yeah. So out of these, uh, Java is called a.
Kshitij,
Yes, ma'am.
are you able to share your screen or you just want to give an introduction?
Ma'am, actually, this is just an introductory session.
Okay, okay.
There's no, yeah,
Okay, okay. No problem. Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes. So in this, yeah. Now, so let's introduce Python. It would be much more clear. So Python is basically an interpreted, interactive, and object-oriented programming language. It basically incorporates different types of modules, exceptions, dynamic typing, and some high-level dynamic data types. So, just for some background, I'll just give you some details about Python programming language. So, in 1991, it was created by Guido van Rossum, and it was released it was released in 1991. So it is a vast language, and it is used for so many different types of fields. Like in web development, it is also used for server side web development. In software development, it is used. It is also some of its functions are used in mathematics. It is also used in system scripting. So yeah, uh, then Python can also create some web applications, and for in softwares to create workflows. It can also connect to database systems. It can also handle big data as well as perform complex mathematics problems. So now Python actually works on different types of platforms, different all kinds of platforms basically, because Windows, Mac, Linux, Raspberry Pi. So it works on all of these platforms, and it has a syntax which is similar to English language. So that's why people are preferring it over the other languages, because the syntax is similar to English language, and basically it's very easy to code. So a person with just basic knowledge about the Python can easily code a basic program. So yeah, and Python is basically the main motive behind the development of Python was to create something with more readability. It was created with some similarities to English languages, and also some influence was taken from the mathematics language to create mathematical problems easier, to make mathematical problems easier. Then Python uses new lines to complete a command. So as opposed to other programming languages, which is often use semicolons or parentheses. So in Python, you don't need to do that. It basically executes every single line of code. So that's why it is called an interpreted language, because it interprets every single line you write in the code. And actually it relies on the indentation, the whiteface, the scopes, and the loops. So basically, it's in other words, we can say that it's similar to other programming languages, but it's still different from them in terms of easiness and in terms of readability, like that. So these are some basic points about Python programming language, and yeah, that's it, man. Hello.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we can hear you.
That's it, Eva. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, sir.
yeah. So, can you just a little highlight on in today's modern world, what are the different use cases where people use Python uh, for developing programs, like different areas. You can give an example.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So basically, Python is used in developing websites, softwares. Even in some cases, task automations are also based on Python language. And then in field of AI and machine learning, some models which are created, some data analysis models or data visualization models, or in case of machine learning, automations are also so much devoted towards the Python language.
Right, right. Yeah, I think it's mainly, I think, because it's the Python is giving you the modern programming tools, but at the same time, it's an interpreted language. So
Yes.
I think it's also playing a major role here. Now,
Yes.
if there's anybody here who can highlight the role of Python in automating the cybersecurity defense related task, then I would. Uh, you know Open to everyone who can contribute if you want to talk about how Python is actually strengthening the cybersecurity. Anybody want to comment here? Right, I can add something from my side. So Python is basically helping you automate the very difficult and tedious task, when you want to, run the scripts, when you want to run the analytics on the logs that you gathered. So this is actually a very universal way to execute your script regardless of the environment, different platforms, because Python is supported everywhere. And you can do the tedious task of sniffing through those logs, audit logs that you generated based on the user activity, based on your program API interactions. Those can be done in a Python. So Python is not just your language or tool to write your website program, but it's really helping. So same way for other modern scripting tools like PowerShell script, your shell scripts programming. So but Python has been more favorable among programmers. So this is something that everybody should have a basic knowledge of, and every cybersecurity researcher would love working with Python to automate their work and the task. So with this, I think if we have any questions in the audience, then let's check, or we can all meet in the networking lounge.
So can I add some point here, like why we need Python as in cybersecurity?
Yes, you Nihal, go ahead.
Okay. So I just give a brief idea why we need Python, because it's easy to learn and easy to implement. Python language is very easy to learn and easy to implement. Also, it makes like easier to debug. When we are debugging programming, at that time it's very easy to debug. And it also like currently available open source are mainly write in a Python language. That's why, and this language is free. That's why we are using this in cybersecurity development. And also like in cybersecurity professional can get a very quickly result. So it's
Yeah,
very helpful to us.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, there is also good libraries for encryption and decryption, and various randomness and fuzzing you can do using Python. So
Yeah,
this is all the whatever you
it
need.
is very
Yeah,
easy here.
yeah. So I think that's why even now in high school also they teach Python, because kids needs a
Yes,
basic of technology, and that's their stepping stone to the
Yes, sir.
programming and cybersecurity world. So I think that's the reason that now everybody should be at least familiar with the Python programming, so that if in your job, in your career, if you have to support any automation task, or do create a script of your own, then it will be helpful. And because it's quick to learn, so your adoption and deployment rate is faster.
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, in case of Python, it is not only
mm-hmm.
helpful for cybersecurity personals, but it is also useful for the hackers, which are attackers. So for them
Okay.
also, it is really helpful. I would not say helpful, but they also use Python, because
Okay.
using this they can do web server fingerprinting. Then website
Mm-hmm.
cloning is also done by using Python.
Mm-hmm.
Because a few days back I was just reading an article where
Mm-hmm.
I was reading about some website which was cloned, just it was a clone of Flipkart.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so I went deep into it, and then I learned that they used Python tool, and they cloned this whole website and created a web application also for that application. They didn't name it after the Flipkart, but it was totally just a clone of that version. So yeah, also in other case, simulation of attacks can also be done by Python-based programming. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, the ethical hackers can use it, and they
Yes,
So
can,
sir.
it's like,
do the same thing what hackers would try to do. So yeah, it's really way to find the vulnerabilities, find try to find the different deficiencies or open gates into the platform.
Yes.
So the good person and bad person both are using the same language to solve
Exactly.
the yeah. So,
Yes.
and thank you for sharing that, Kshitij. Uh, yeah.
Thank you.
So I think, yeah, we can.
Uh, at the end, I like to thank all the today's guests. Uh, Thank you, Pashwa. Thank you, Kshitij, and thank you, David, to join today's session and give us share your knowledge. And thank you for coming and give us a time. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
So now I would like to invite you all to join our launch and do one-on-one meeting so we can know each other more. So instead of waiting along, let's meet in a launch and do some networking. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.